Well, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, ladies and gentlemen, as the case might be. Welcome or welcome back, again, as the case might be. My name is Dalibor Petrovic. I am your host to these tectonic conversations, and today we are going to have a fantastic conversation on very, very important topic, which is the application of artificial intelligence technologies to healthcare industry. And to help us unpack this, I am thrilled to welcome Evgeny Koloda, joining us from Tampa, Florida this afternoon, your time. Evgeny, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you very much for inviting me to this conversation. Yeah, I'm
It's
going back and forth between Toronto and Tampa. Right now, the weather is great here.
fantastic, fantastic. So Evgeny is a virtual CIO with decades of experience leading technology mandates and technology domains. But recently, you've been specializing and delivering actual artificial intelligence programs and projects within healthcare industry in the United States, I'm assuming, and you have therefore experienced firsthand what this is, what are the applications, what are the projects, what are the lessons learned, and Evgeny, this is what I wanted to sort of discuss with you today. For any of the audience members who might be joining us live, please feel free to use Q&A function of this platform and submit any questions, and we will do our best to address as many as we can. So with that, Evgeny, um, why don't you give us a little bit of a sort of orientation of who you are, and then we can start by you sharing your perspective of what do you see the agentic AI to actually be in the context of healthcare industry.
Yeah, thank you. Again, I work in with multiple clients in Canada, US, Europe, Asia for 25 plus years, and in all the sectors, you name it, non-for-profit, mining, oil, gas, financial. But recently, I switched to, I stepped into healthcare because I see a huge potential, and I think healthcare is the one of the fields where AI will make the most impact. As we discussed, that AI will have impact on every sector, every profession, every job, every task as we know it, right?
Yes.
But healthcare has so much potential. So I stepped in and worked with a few clients and started implementing AI. Again, we talking, is automation. Has been around and we made a lot of progress, right? But right now, agentic AI is what's going to make a huge difference, drastic difference in all the sectors, right? But we started implementing a lot of AI agents, right? And agentic AI is the set of agents who are self-learning, self-sufficient. So they'll be doing multiple tasks and have the orchestrator who's managing those agents.
Mhm.
Every single vendor right now, Google, Microsoft, Amazon, X, they all working on building those agents, right?
Mhm.
And then in the future, we'll find agents for hire. So you'll be hiring a specific agents to do some job. So I work at specific EMR, electronic medical records platforms, and they already started implementing AI in different modules,
Mhm.
right? I
Yeah.
think the biggest one which makes impact right now that ambient listening or ambient AI, right?
Yep.
So that's where the you enable the recording, right? So ambient agent assistant is listening to your conversation with the patient,
Yep.
and doctor provider is just driving the conversation. And the AI is taking the history,
Yep.
taking the medication orders, scheduling X-rays, scheduling lab schedules, right? Do everything as the doctor does, but
Yep.
as your assistant,
Yeah.
and
So
creates you. Yeah,
I was going to say before we go into the use cases which I know that we want to explore, and you have prepared a number of them. Maybe just for the benefit of the audience listening here, to distinguish what do we mean when we say an agent
yeah,
versus not an agent. So to me, this is how I think about it. Automation, non-agentic automation, the RP, robotics process automation,
Yeah.
scripts, batches, and so forth, including the initial AI capability that became available to us, was more of a tool, as in you need to configure it, you need to deploy it, you need to manage it. It does what you direct it to do. And to me, this is the description of what a tool actually is. It's in your service. And to me, intellectually, logically, agent is something fundamentally different. Agent is not a tool. Agent has the autonomy to learn and improve and come up with choices and decisions. And to me, this is a fundamental difference between these two concepts. And what AI is doing is actually enabling us to do this, enabling us to actually. Would you agree with that, Evgeny?
Yeah, so we had a few steps where we went from RPM, robotics processing, right? Automation. Then we applied the agentic AI on top of it, so it starts making those automations better. And then we gradually moving into agentic AI, where the agents are self-learning and self-sufficient. So you provide the input and the expectation of the output. What is going to happen in the middle? It's up to the agents. They'll be
That's it. That's it.
self-replicating, they're creating each other, they're communicating, they find the mistake, they learn, they adjust, and they orchestrate. I've
Yes.
seen a few systems, which are very close to this. Again, I'm trying to caution people that every time you hear agentic AI and you go to the platform, it might not be agentic AI. It might be the remote automation with some with some AI on top of it, right? But it's not a true agent, right? Or you can create the agent who are not working together in the orchestrator yet,
Mm.
right? But
So,
a few platforms going that way.
so how would you advise people to think about and differentiate what is real in terms of agentic capabilities versus what's the marketing hype around
Yeah.
it?
I do evaluation of the platforms, probably like, I don't know, a dozen of platforms a month, right?
Yeah.
And I just had a call with Zoom, right? And they showed their agentic AI, right? And I look at them and I ask the first question, is it self-sufficient? Do I have to adjust it? Is it self-learning? The
Hmm.
answer is no. They said, no, 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 you have to adjust. You need to create a business case. It learns the business case, but it gives you instructions to adjust it later. I immediately said, this is not a true agentic AI. It's not self-sufficient. It's not self-learning. If I have to touch it, if I have to reconfigure throughout the process, this is not agentic.
Hmm. Hmm. And
Okay.
from your research, from your knowledge and understanding, do you feel that there are some tools out there that you would consider to truly be agentic as of now?
Some,
Some.
some.
Yeah.
I've seen some that are really true agentic AI. They're just too costly. They're too expensive to implement. A lot of people are just using N8N platform to build agents,
Hmm.
right? But you need to configure them manually. It's a very long process, and you need to build a QA, quality control agents through the entire process to get the output so you read and see if everything is broken. Because again, AI is hallucinating, and if you give it that full power of autonomous self-learning to agents, if it gets the dirty data, it starts hallucinating, and then it try to teach other agents on this hallucinated data.
Yeah.
So it's very dangerous. But I just had a call with Google a few weeks ago. So they released their agent space. So this is the first step of building the agentic AI on the Google model,
Hmm.
on the Gemini platform and on the GCP cloud.
Yeah.
Okay, they're going into the right direction. They already built a few, which is really true agentic AI. You just ask the input, you give them input, and you get the output. You do not build those agents. They're very close. Microsoft as well. They already built in their Copilot agents. You can create agents. They are true agentic AI, but they're very with limited capacity.
Mhm. So, in your estimate, this is around the corner, right? We will soon
Absolutely.
around the corner, right? So,
Absolutely. And mhm.
so I was going to ask you, how do you envision? We will go now. I'm going to talk about the use cases because I think this is really important for people who listen to this to sort of understand how is this deployed. But since we are now touching on the topic of agentic or AI agents, true AI agents, what do you foresee the people's experience interacting with those will actually be like? What are we talking about? Fast forward the movie for us, let's say 6 months. What do you think will be available?
It could be 3 months, it could be 6 months. It's very hard to predict. But again, the Microsoft is working, NVIDIA is working, to X is working, and they're all working on building the agent who'll be sitting behind the scene, right, and watching what you're doing, right? Microsoft built it and they removed it in Windows 11. So it will be watching what exactly you're doing. You're clicking on this button, and after a week, it will tell you. You are just constantly opening this email and you attaching this file weekly reports. Can I do it for you? And you'll say, yes, absolutely, do it for me. It will take that task away from you, right? You creating a scheduled Zoom recording with these clients, constantly clicking this button, agent will tell you, can I do it for you? Because it's a repetitive task, I understand your pattern,
Hmm.
right? And it will do it and it will learn as you go. I used a few agents similar to this, but it's not on the bigger scale. This is the true agentic AI, what will happen. And again, as the next step, all the AI leaders are saying that SaaS platforms will disappear as we know it, because that will be the agent and access to the databases. So Salesforce, it will be a database. Nobody is going to use Salesforce as the UX, like opening menus and reading it. Because once you keep doing it every week, the AI agent will pick it up and say, you know what? You constantly trying to find the leads in the Salesforce. Can I just go to Salesforce,
I
take
see
this
what you're
data for
saying.
you, and send
Yeah.
the email,
I
right?
see what you're saying. So you're suggesting that there will be agents who are going to actually allow us to interact with our workflow as if we are talking to an intelligent person who actually is observing, looking what we're doing, and being helpful. So,
Absolutely.
so the interface no longer is to your ERP system. The interface is going to be to an intelligent representation of your AI, of your ERP system or CRM system or medical record system, and you will talk to it, and it will go and do the work and come back to you and say, "Here is what I found. Here is what I did."
Yeah, look, and Google is already doing this. That agent space they offering you can connect through API to most of the large platforms. You
Yeah.
connect to Salesforce, you connect to Monday.com, you connect to Google Email. Off you go. You don't have interfaces anymore. Your only interface is that chatbot right now, but in the future it will be that assistant who is manipulating the agents. Will ask you, Evgeny, so what do you want to do today? I see your schedule. Do you want me to handle all the communication? Yes. So it will go and find the data in Salesforce, find the data in G Suite, in the Google Drive, connect it all together and say, here's the email. Do you want me to send it? Yeah, I say yes. And in the future, once you trust this process, it will be doing it for you. This is the future. This is the future of
Yeah.
agentic AI from the healthcare point. Just watch that Microsoft released their Dragon Health EMR-less healthcare AI. So they basically they trying to step into this market and saying you don't need EMR anymore. You don't need the platform. This is our co-pilot. Just point where the data sits. Here are the files. There's a lab. This X-ray. This is my schedule. And the next step is like, yes, do you want to run the diagnose? Do you
Yeah.
want me to analyze those X-rays? Do you want me to schedule an appointment? There is no EMR anymore. It does not exist. So Microsoft is the first one who steps into this. They're trying to conquer the market, right? But
Yeah.
now there's a battle between EMRs trying to catch up and the require platform.
This is fascinating stuff. You can just imagine. This is I fully agree with you. I think that we are there now. We are there now, and it's going to only like it's gonna be worst it ever is. It's today. Like tomorrow is gonna be better. So I can completely see if you fast forward this movie by 3 months, 6 months, a year. Uh, this is the way we are going to be performing work, right? Now imagine the implications, not just for the workers who are now interacting seamlessly as if they're talking to their, smart colleague, but implications for the infrastructure behind it, the technology leaders who need to make sure that this is enabled and safe and protection of privacy and information, like the infrastructure that runs technology within organizations is going to look very, very different. Very different, right? So
I,
that,
I can tell you, I just ran a big project, as usual, find the data warehouse platform, data analytics, right? Power BI against the Yellowfin, Tableau. And then 6 months ago, I stopped the project. It's like, oh my God, the new approach is there is no data warehouse. And then I started evaluating platforms, AI-based platform, and we find a few like QLake, enterprise-grade platform, which does not have a warehouse. Okay, it has the API connectivity to
yeah,
different platforms, but then it correlates the data, it finds the difference, it finds and build the reports. So you're asking, hey, this is my users, give me a prediction if I go to a different market and open 60 more clinics, how it will implicate me. It goes to NetSuite, Oracle, get the financial data.
yeah,
It reads all the data, structured data in NetSuite, but it finds the data you need. It goes to G Suite, find the data. It goes to your whatever Monday.com PM system, right? It goes to Salesforce, get all this data and create a report and get you prediction. If you go into a different market, this is the implication. That's how
yeah.
much you're going to make, or that's how much you're going to lose, and
Incredible.
get the immediate data analytics. So right now, data analytics changing. The entire approach is changing. Microsoft came with SQL-less database for a reason. You don't need a structured data anymore. And I was very impressed. I look at a few startup companies and I help them to, to change their platforms. But we look at that, there is no data mapping behind anymore. You don't map the data. It actually predicts, it understands, like this is the user. I think this user has a different ID or email in this platform. Do you think they are the same? And you tell them yes. From now on, just yeah, use this analytics. There is no engineer sitting at the back and saying, this is ID, mapping to this ID, mapping to this data.
Yeah,
Something changes, you have to remap.
yeah, yeah,
It, it's still, not a lot of companies going into this space, right? But when we look at a QLake, for example, they actually made a really nice step toward it. There is no analyst, there is no engineer behind it trying to get the reports out. Anyone can prompt and get the data.
yeah. This is fascinating stuff. We actually had one of the viewers asked about the implications for data. So you are already answering that question. Um, where I think we will need to be cautious is validation of this of
Yes.
the outputs, right? To me, that will become critical. Right now, we of course have been historically doing everything ourselves with support of the tools, right? Now we are going to be in a scenario where we are interacting with geniuses who are going to go and do all this work on our behalf, the sources we point to, and tell us the outputs. And I think that the risk for humanity is to get comfortable to trust that output fully,
Yes.
explicitly, without due diligence of validation. And I think that will going to emerge as an important role for humans to continue performing. Those smartest, wisest, most experienced who actually understand how to interpret the output to make sure that truth prevails, I guess, and
But
accuracy, right?
But that's where we go to agentic AI.
Hmm.
I did a big project for Bank of Canada a while ago. We were trying to choose the approach for their data lakes, data warehouses, very long structure. But after 6 months, we came to the same conclusion: data is too dirty, too much of the data. We don't want to touch anything. We don't want to move.
Yeah.
Stay as is. We're not ready because you need to clean the data. Right now, I've seen a few agentic AI platforms who are building those agents, who are reading your data, trying to understand, validate every single piece,
Uh-huh.
validate.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Good example,
Yeah.
Google. Google released their admin data validator. Okay. So as an administrator, you can go there and say, I want to map the data. What data I have? And it asks you, provide me 2 weeks of samples. You go on app, open every single file, read it, and say, this is my reports, no PHI data. This is the category. This one, this one. So you train it for 2 weeks. Then you enable, and it stops categorizing and tagging all your data. Okay? And then you validate once in a while. We see the agents you're building who will be doing this.
Yeah.
Then imagine you can bring the vast number of
Yeah.
data
Yeah.
but train only one or 60 agents who will be validating your data, right? And the another agents who will be validating this validator.
Yeah.
And at the end, you will have massive amount of data that can be used without the cleaning process, manual process.
This will be actually transformational because as both you and I
Absolutely.
know, the biggest obstacle for most organizations is that their data is not
Yeah.
clean, ready, well organized, combination of structured and unstructured chaos. And few organizations have embarked on multi-million dollar projects
Yeah.
that are long, complex, and expensive, and that has been the obstacle. What you're describing is a solution to this massive
Absolutely.
issue. Massive issue. What you have also described is not only the solution to this massive data issue, but you also described a much more elegant way to actually deploy AI in service of your mandate. So with data solved and interaction with intelligent agents instead of traditional software platforms, this is going to be a different
Yeah.
universe for people who work in the field. So, Yevgeny, I would love to get you to share with us real world examples, what you have seen and done yourself to
Yeah.
bring these concepts to life for our audience.
Yeah. So for example, we have the EMR system, which already step into AI. They're spending 40% of their revenue yearly on AI only. So they have four different modules inside the EMR, and we did a lot of POCs. We tested it. I don't know. A year ago, it was too cost prohibitive, right? It cost way too much, right? Right now, we came to the first time in our history where the AI is actually cost exactly the same as the applying using humans and outsourced, right, in India. So now we can start implementing that. So that ambient AI, it's a first great
Well, let's
example.
yeah, please explain. Could you mind like explaining for
Absolutely.
audiences who are not technical, so they would understand what you mean when you say ambient and when you say EMR, like what is it, and then help us understand the problem. What is the solution? What were the pros and cons?
Yeah. So for example, right now, electronic medical records, so where you have all the data for patient, right? So the doctor opens EMR, get the patient, read the history, right? Pages and pages of history. What happened with this patient, right? Maybe he hasn't seen this patient for a year, right? So it reads it, start conversation, and get the history first, right? Get the symptoms, then try to order labs results, right?
Yep.
Blood tests, X-rays, and so on. Finish it, right? And while he's doing it, he's writing the progress notes.
Yeah.
It could be like 2 pages long.
Yeah.
And then he sees another patient. He doesn't have time to finish it, right? Then later at night on the weekend, he goes and read it again. I was like, oh my God, what did I do for this patient? Okay, read the notes again, then X-ray, do the labs, do the medications, orders, and so on, and complete it. So it takes him 2 hours to complete one progress notes. He has thousands of patients, so we know for a fact the doctors are burned out, the quids, they work weekends and nights. So we're bringing the ambient listening. So the device or whatever microphone, right, is listening to the conversation. So the patient is saying, well, I have a back pain. It immediately goes back and say, yeah, so this is the history. So he actually had the back pain history, right? So, and it's suggesting the doctor to ask additional questions, right?
Hmm.
Then he's saying, okay, I need to order a lab. Uh, do you have time Wednesday at 2 o'clock to do the lab, to go to the lab? The patient said, yeah, absolutely. It immediately creates a lab order for this specific time and get it ready.
Mm.
And doctor says, okay, I'm prescribing you this medication and this order, blah, blah, blah. It creates the medication request. So it creates all this. The visit is done. It doesn't matter. It could be a virtual visit or a physical visit. Then the doctor reads through the notes. Everything is already ready. And it's asking you, do you agree with me? And provider is spending 5 minutes, 2 minutes, and just click, I agree, I agree. Sorry, no, I should change this. Agree, 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 done. So instead of 2 hours, doctor is spending 2 minutes,
Mm.
5 minutes. This is massive for the doctors. This is not perfect, okay? It's new. So there are special keywords you need to use, right? Only technically advanced providers can, drive this conversation to get the data correctly, right?
Yeah.
Ambient is listening for specific keywords. You need to mention them so it drives it. Um, I don't know. My client is in the seniors patients, right? So they're spending like 2 hours on the visit, right?
Yep.
So AI is collecting too much data, and then it starts hallucinating. Is it
Mhm.
creating too much data? It starts hallucinating. So you need to drive conversation
Yeah.
properly.
So there is,
You need
in
to
other words,
pause and so
there is a that you need to learn to use the system, right?
not perfect,
Yeah,
but
not
AI
perfect.
is learning as well. But imagine, and I'm talking to a doctor, and some of them like, unbelievable. I
Yes.
actually can now spend time with the patient, not focusing on getting the notes done
Yeah. Yeah.
or labs done. And you removing the back office people who are creating orders, who are creating labs orders, right? Who are following up. Everything is done through this just one progress note and ambient assistant.
Yeah. So Yevgeny, like this intuitively sounds fantastic. What are the cons? What are the issues here that people need to, or doctors, or you as a designer and the implementer of solutions? What are the key issues to be concerned about?
Yeah, as I mentioned, yeah. So it's hallucinating, so you need to constantly verify the data. And
Yeah.
if you have a very long visit, right, you need to verify a lot of data. So if you can make shorter visits, right, and be more precise in the description, you have a better outcome. You need to be trained on those keywords as well, right? So it's not for everyone, but you can run some visits where you think it will be short and will be taken by ambient much better. So you do them with the ambient. The
Mm.
rest you do as you do manually,
Fair
right?
enough. Fair enough.
It's learning. It's learning. We see it's advancing, right? The more data it receives, the better it is.
So this is real and it exists and you have done it.
A
That's
lot of EMRs are implementing it right now, but you need to do the POC, right?
yeah,
Proof
sure,
of
of course.
concept, pilots, pick a few doctors, train them first, run through the data, and then combine, right? It might make 2% of mistakes, right? How many percentage acceptable for you to make even by a doctor, right? Doctor can make mistake too,
Well, of course they do. Of course they
right?
do.
They
Of
can,
course.
if you're comfortable with 2% or 5%, right? And Ambient is making 2%, right?
Yeah.
I think you're on the same page. They both will make a mistake,
Yeah.
right? But then you look what kind of mistakes, right? Ordering a wrong prescription. That's patient safety. You cannot
Of
do
course.
that. If
Of
Ambient
course.
is doing that,
Yeah, of course.
no, no, right?
So that this is a very compelling use case that you described. Can you share some other compelling use cases you've done or seen done?
Yeah, radiology or lab, sorry, X-ray
Yeah, yeah.
review, hundreds of cases, and we we're talking to radiologists right now. They just completely reduce their time of reviewing the X-rays. They just reviewing the AI output. So they're spending a few minutes. They're looking. It's like, yeah, it makes sense. Yes, absolutely. And we have a lot of reports right now because look, Microsoft started the first one with IBM. They were doing the X-rays. They showed that 90% accuracy. Then we go to 95% accuracy. Right now, we're very, very close to 99.1% accuracy of the X-ray
This is
results review.
so what you're saying is that at this moment, AI review and assessment and diagnosis from scans, from radiology scans, AI can achieve 99.1% accuracy. Do you know, like, I don't want to put you on the spot if you don't, but do you know what is like, what's the human accuracy here?
Um, um, I don't remember, yeah,
Yeah.
the statistics on the
I would
human error.
think it's less, right?
But what the study on the Sweden was done that the best results achieved when the doctor is working together with AI,
Yeah.
right? Not separately. Separately, both making mistakes. Together, they can achieve very high rate, but the time of reviewing the X-rays reduced significantly. The
Yeah.
same is with the ambient, right? And all the X-ray companies right now, they're just building in their software. Say, we make it more efficient, much better.
Hmm.
AI can do this. This is all based on mathematics, reviewing the image and check it against the template.
So fantastic. Now, this is for radiologists. Obviously, I'm going to suggest any types of results like that that could be processed by AI and then paired with a doctor to review, validate, confirm, or th this use case can be applied to any of those scenarios, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah,
Again, POC, find the vendor who's doing it. There are hundreds of them right now claiming they can do it, right? You need to run a POC, get the x-rays, get the results. The same with doing with diagnosis, right? We did a lot of POCs where doctor came out with diagnosis, right? And we put the same input into AI and see if it matches,
that's right.
right? We spoke to our directors, medical directors, and I think one of the case I said, "Give me the most difficult case, right? Which is unique." And he gave me a unique case where they had a few doctors reviewed and came up with the wrong diagnosis, right? You run it through AI and you do the deep research. It goes online and search all the articles. And then it picked up and said, yeah, in 2021 in India, one of the professor mentioned this, right, in his article. That's probably a misdiagnosis, right? I think this is the way. And the doctor told me, there is no way I would read this article. Like I cannot read
Of course,
everything, right?
of course.
But knowing this fact, I would change my opinion immediately. And then I said, yeah, absolutely. If you run the deep research on this and then use this information to come up with your diagnosis or use AI to suggest and then you verify, right? You might come with completely different result.
This is, yeah, fascinating. I know that you've mentioned to me as we were preparing for this talk two other use cases, one around document management, fax indexing, and the final one about AI call centers. Can we like describe them next? What is the document management fax indexing opportunity there that you've seen?
So right now, some of the platforms offer you the services where they manage faxes, right? It's still fascinating that healthcare and government are the only two entities who are still using analog fax, well, digital faxes, but in the large quantity, a huge quantity, thousands and hundreds of thousands of pages a month, right? Like, well, we're
Incredible.
processing 600,000 pages a month. So we have the team who is reading every single page. and they need to find this is a lab for this patient. It needs to go to this doctor, right? Doctors cannot do it. Even their team cannot do it. So we have a back office people, right, who are reading these results and apply to the EMR system to the correct patient, to the correct category, to correct provider, doctor, right?
Mhm.
So we implemented that first AI solution, which reads the document, which any AI platform can, summarize the document, but find inside the document the patient name, doctor's name, date of the appointment, and understand from the summary what this document is about. This is an X-ray lab for this patient, for this doctor. So the only thing that back office person does, reads, verify, click.
Mm.
So we reduce from 6 minutes per fax to 2 minutes per fax, right? So immediately we reduce the number of people who are managing those faxes by 80% with the same volume, right? But then you apply another deduplication because that's another pain where the lab is sending you the fax, right? And while you're processing, the clinic said, we haven't received any. The lab sent it again, and then again, and then again. So the back office people managing the same fax, they're applying the same fax over and over and over and over and over. We
Right.
are like 20% of dedupes, which we're paying per page, right? And it takes a lot of time to do it. Right now, AI is actually see date of the fax is the same, patient is the same, data is the same. It's probably deduplicate. It's double, so don't process it. Again, there is a lot of guardrails there because it's very dangerous, right? It could be just same result with two different words, right? But human mistakes, humans can make this mistake. They look at two faxes, 6 pages long. It's like, yeah, it looks the same.
Yeah, yeah,
Don't
that's right.
process
That's
it.
right.
But
So,
actually, no, there's an additional page there with, cancer results, right? Which is doctor needs to see. But the AI reads the entire document, get the entire summary, and correlate and see they look exactly the same, word to word. Don't process.
yeah, this is this is a huge improvement in productivity. This would be an absolutely a game changer. Absolutely. Um, you mentioned the final one that I'm curious for you to, if you don't mind
Also,
explaining. Yeah, the AI call centers. Like what's
yeah,
happening there?
call centers. Yeah, and I've been in VoIP for so many years, and now I see the change. It's crazy. Yeah, we just had a conversation with Zoom, and they're trying to get into healthcare call centers, right? We look at the EMRs who are building their own call centers because they all have ability right now to design an agent who can call, make the outreach calls. We have the call center who are calling patients and verifying their prescriptions or
Oh,
verifying
the
their
outgoing
visits.
call. So it's
Hundreds and hundreds of calls. EMR itself can make that call because it has the data. It reads the schedule and say, this person missed 3 appointments. I think I should remind them, actually call them. Instead of agents calling them, this is AI agents to call, providing that script. Hello, this is this clinic. You're missing an appointment. Do you want to reschedule it? Say yes or no. Do you want? And it can speak any language. You don't need a call center with Spanish or French anymore,
that's correct.
right? Or Hindu, right? So it's all, and it's so easy to implement. It has the data, and the call agents right now cost nothing to build. Incoming calls, yes. So right now it's we found with the POC and ROI that it's still cheaper to use the agent, but applying the AI, which gives you the scripting, live scripts, it detects the human emotions in the call and tells you right away to the call agents. Hold on a second. I think I detect that this person is in stress. Okay, you should change your tone. You should ask these specific questions. Okay? Or you're asking the wrong question. This is the question. This is what we need to collect. So that true assistant sits right in the call. Before we had managers who barge in, call in, check how the agent is doing, and whisper, right? They receive that alert and saying this agent is on call for 20 minutes.
Mm.
Let me barge in and whisper and tell him, you know what, let me take this call, or you're not driving the conversation properly.
Yeah.
Right now, that AI agent is doing it. It detects the keywords, it detects the emotions, it detects everything and guide you how to make the correct call
Yeah.
and suggest the next step. And we see that you're already connecting with EMR system. So then suddenly, as soon as the patient calls in, it knows its appointments, it knows, and as soon as the person said, yeah, I need to confirm my appointment, boom, right there. Yes, your appointment is this. What do you want to do? Do you want me to reschedule?
Yeah.
And it can be done with the fully automated self-learning agent.
Agent.
Look at Zoom. They're not truly agentic. They showed us that you have to build business cases and apply them, but it's learning. It sees the knowledge base, it sees those business cases and building scripts as it goes.
Yeah.
You put the guardrails, you don't allow it to go online and look for the information. It reads this information. This is the call script. This is what I need to do, but it's adjusting as it goes through the conversation, which is absolutely amazing. So the next iteration, and I see a lot of platforms goes into this way, they will replace the call agents.
Yeah.
And we're
What
talking about 5 months, 6 months. A lot of those platforms will replace the outbound and inbound call agents.
this is really fascinating, exciting, and at the same time horrifying because what we are looking at is a combination of dramatic improvement in productivity, hopefully improvement in results and medical outcomes, and at the same time one can also see clear displacement of people,
Yes.
displacement of workers, knowledge workers. And in the scenario you described, this is like touching everybody from call center agent who might,
Everyone.
from call center agent to a wise and experienced doctor
Yep.
and everybody in between. And what is interesting is that the four use cases you described, and let's just remind ourselves what they were. They were the ambient recording, transcribing, understanding, analyzing, and summarizing, right? That's one. Second one was review and diagnosis based on CT scans, MRI scans, based on actual like looking at the outputs of the scans and helping diagnose more accurately, faster. Third one was around documents and faxes. So in ingestion of documents, contextualizing them, summarizing them, and helping sort of catch the duplicates or errors and so forth. And the final one, call center. But you know what? When I think call center, I'm thinking inbound call center. And
Oh
that has
no.
been in play. This is now what you're saying is that technology is there to actually automate or agentize, if you wish, outbound call centers. Like
Outbound
these,
is the cheapest, the fastest way
yeah.
to implement the agentic AI. Absolutely.
So what is interesting is that this is coming from healthcare industry, and I can now with confidence say this will apply to every other industry,
Absolutely.
right? This is like I can see mining and energy and financial
Absolutely.
services, like
Absolutely.
everything you mentioned are the real punchy use cases. So what I want to ask you next is in a traditional world, each one of these would be a highly complex, multi-million dollar, potentially multi-year projects to bring these ideas to fruition. In the new world in which we are in, what is emerging as a good practice to actually achieve some of these project outcomes? Like how complex, how quick, how expensive would it be, for example, right now, Yevgeny, to deploy, you know, ambient so listening and transcribing? How now versus let's say 2 years ago,
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
even if
Again,
it was possible.
yeah, I was leading the technology advisory services at BDO, right? And that was our bread and butter, right? Choosing platform, right, to multi-million project, dollars project, right? Right now, it's all reduced to like by 80%. I all the PM stuff, project management stuff, can be done with the right prompting and Gemini, not GPT, but in Gemini or Claude, if you have the HIPAA compliance or protected entity, you can run with those prompts. You can create tabs. You can build infographics. You can build landing pages, presentations in seconds. I'm talking about seconds. I did that BI workshop recently, right? And we had people from all the industries, from consulting world, and they all asked the same question. Evgeny, project management. I said, you can do any project management right now with just one, maybe additional analyst. That's it. Or maybe your own.
Yeah.
Just do the right prompting and the scripts you can build, run it through Gemini, and off you go. You just lead it, and I need to run the POC for this. This is my strategy. These are my policies. These are my processes. This is all 65 documents, all my processes. Analyze them, come up with the right questions to my vendor.
Yeah.
Analyze them. These are the questions, these are the answers from my vendors. 6 pages. Load it in and say, okay, now build the metrics. Who should I choose? What are additional questions I need to ask? Build me the presentation to do it. So 20 minutes later, you have a document. You spend another 2 hours to verify the data there, and you come up with the project selection process, which previously took 6 months, now takes a week.
Yeah.
Before it took 6 people, right now it's 1 or 2 people.
This is becoming a massive democratizer, a massive equalizer, and mediocrity ain't gonna fly anymore.
Yep.
Right?
And that's why the small consulting company are winning projects right now against, BDO, Ernst& Young, right? Deloitte, because right now you drastically change the cost and time, but their outcome is nearly the same. You
Yeah.
just need to have that analyst who understand the industry, right? Who can read that report, adjust it slightly, right, and present.
Yeah. This is it's a fascinating. As we discussed before we went live, I think this is the most fascinating moment in history to be alive, to actually experience
Absolutely.
what we are experiencing, and quite frankly, not knowing where is all this going to lead us as a society. Like what's coming our way. I wanted to ask your perspective on this, but there was another question that came from the audience, and I'm not sure if you will be able to answer it or not. But the question from one of the audience members is, how is agentic AI changing the way in which academic medical centers, these 165 of them, Mayo, Mass General, and so forth, how is the agentic AI, do you see any impact to how they are working and collaborating and sharing data? Is there more trust, less trust? Any comments on that, Evgeny?
Absolutely. If they don't adapt AI right now and agentic AI, deep research AI, they'll be obsolete. Right now, you can go to Gemini, click a deep research, and ask, go online and find all the data I need, right? It takes 15 minutes to do the deep research. And at the end, it creates the complete document with all the structures, but find pricing, find the feedback from people online, combine it together, right? It takes 15 minutes. Same with diagnosis. Right now, what those research people did, they go online, they find information, they combine it. I worked for investment banking company in Canada for 15 years at IT, right? So we were selling research, bread and butter. You have the person who understands the industry, specific industry. You have analysts behind him, 5 or 6 people who are doing online research. Combine it, he's making a decision, find
Yeah,
the direction,
yeah,
and they come up with the report you sell. You don't need it anymore. You go online, but again, you need to verify. Just
yeah,
make sure there's no hallucination. But you provide the right criteria, right outputs, you ask the right questions, like you ask your business analyst. In 15 minutes, it'll give you the full report.
Yeah, this is it's a different, yeah, we are in a different universe at the moment. So let's play the movie forward. Based on your first-hand experience deploying the system, seeing the outcome and output of this, um, what is the employment disruption scenario here? I would love for you in to well, what do you think? Which jobs are going to be at immediate risk in, let's say, context is healthcare? Which jobs might be at risk midterm? And let's decide what we mean when we say midterm, like 3 years to 5 years,
Yeah.
maybe, and maybe the long term. What do you think?
It's again, before I could do the 5 years roadmap. Right now, my roadmap shortened to 6 months. I cannot predict outside of 6 months. The technology is changing so rapidly. I have no idea what's going to happen in 6 months. But I think that the back office and the front office people will lose their jobs immediately. And I see it right now with all these modules implemented. The back office who is doing repetitive tasks, right, moving the files, analyzing the files, they'll be gone. They'll be eliminated. You don't need to replace them. You need to have 10% of people just to validate the data or the process. That's it. The rest will be computerized through AI agents.
Mhm.
The front end offices, the same. We have the front person who is asking, what's your insurance company? What's your insurance? Let me check if you can you sign in. Right now, you just go, you get your face recognition, and the system immediately tells you, you're missing this information in your medical insurance company.
Mhm.
Can you just click it on the screen and fill it? We don't need the front office anymore. We're removing it. Right now, a lot of labs, you go there, you have a kiosk, you self-check in, it tells you what you're missing, you fill it in, that's it. There's no front office, right? Medical assistants, right? It's the same. They're assisting provider doctor with the data analytics and the processes.
Mm.
You don't need them anymore, or you need less, right?
Mm.
Right now, we have maybe 6 people to support one provider, one doctor. You probably won't need at the end one.
Yeah.
So they will lose their jobs, right? Project management, they will lose their jobs, right? It will drastically decrease. I
Yeah.
think the 2 years maybe the people who survive who are doing the strategies, right? Strategies still need to adjust. You need to analyze the data. You need to find that you know, based on your experience, you'll see where AI is hallucinating, right? And that's probably like our job. So my job probably will be obsolete in 2 years, 3 years, where AI will take over this, right? It will be a massive impact. And as we discussed, I think the only solution is to get a universal income, right? To find the opportunity to people to get some kind of set amount of
Yeah.
money if they work or not.
Yeah. 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 I think that we are facing a very interesting um, conundrum. All previous industrial revolutions created new industries, and there was a transition and disruption, but people were actually able to get different jobs, higher value jobs, better jobs as
Yes,
we automated previous industries. It feels to me like this time is different,
it is.
right? These jobs will be displaced with jobs that AI systems will be performing actually better. Like this could be the end of the story for vast majority of population to actually be able to, exercise their labor rights. So I would agree with you. I think that we as a society need to be thinking deep and hard, but also quickly as to how do we actually approach this and address this to avoid potential cataclysmic scenarios for us, right? Yeah.
Absolutely. Look at what's big companies, Amazon, Microsoft, they're laying off 9,000 people, 5,000 people. But the point is, these people cannot find job.
That's the issue, right?
These jobs are obsolete. I'm bombarded by companies from India trying to sell me DevOps software.
Yes.
message. This is obsolete. I can build this application software in seconds.
Yes.
Why are you still selling me the legacy? But they're saying that's all we sell.
Yeah.
We can't, what can we sell it to you?
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely. It's gone. Look at SaaS platforms. As soon as they lose their competitive advantage, Salesforce, Oracle, right? What are they going to sell?
Yeah. It's a fascinating it's a fascinating moment. Very, very interesting discussion that I think brings theory down to a practical level. I love that we shared some real life stories of things that you've actually done to bring this to life. Maybe the final question I wanted to ask you, Evgeny, what would you suggest? What would you recommend to the people who are impacted by this or will be imminently impacted by this? Like what should they do?
We passed the point where we learn, do we need AI, right? We
Yeah.
passed that. We need AI. We need to learn it
Yeah.
now, right? So you need to learn practical implementation of AI. Anyone should implement AI platforms, right? So again, my suggestion is you go find a consulting company who can do it, or go and learn, read, find out, use Gemini, use ChatGPT, go and do the deep research and say, hey, here's my business case. Find me any other business case that was solved by AI platform. Which AI platform? Show it to me. Go do the demo and see if it applies to you. Run the proof of concept, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and you'll find. Do the ROI and see if it makes financial sense, right? But again, I'm all about practical only, right?
Yeah.
Not academical anymore.
Yeah.
6, 8 months ago, yeah, I did the MIT course. I learned nothing in the course because it was too academical. Why do we want to use AI? If you don't use AI, you'll be obsolete tomorrow.
Yeah.
Your company, your job will be done, will be replaced by AI agents or the companies who are adjusting those agents.
So the way I would sort of summarize your comment is, and let's go back to that when you described in the current state, one doctor might be supported by six support staff, and one financial guru would be supported by six analysts. Eventually, all will be replaced, but there will be a window of opportunity where those six are going to likely convert into one.
Yep,
Be the one,
be the one.
right? Be the one. And the only way you can be the one is to really apply yourself with curiosity, with desire to actually understand, know, and be able to leverage the systems so you can actually demonstrate your value to the organization. Like to me, is that what that's how I would translate your recommendation.
Absolutely. Learn, implement as fast as you can. Again, get better service, faster service to your clients, right? With the same amount of money or less you're spending right now. But be ready for that displacement, right? People will be replaced with the AI agents or AI platforms in a matter of months or years.
Yes.
Okay? Let's not just dream about that it's going to happen in 10 years and I'll be retired by then. Nope. This is the first time in history where we see that drastic technology change that nobody can even predict.
Nobody predicted. Yeah. What an interesting moment to be alive.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yevgeny, thank you very much for your time. This was wonderful and informative and really sort of practical in the conversation. For the audience members, if you're interested, we're going to actually be unpacking this scenario and what will likely emerge as a post-labor world in which we are all going to be finding ourselves. So if you're interested, on July 24th, in a week and a day, I'll be hosting David Shapiro, who is emerged as a leading voice and researcher on the topic of post-labor economy and what can we do as a society to actually present options that will buffer us all from what's coming in terms of job displacements and so forth. So please, I invite you to come and register for that discussion. And meanwhile, Yevgeny, thank you very much for your time and for the experience and wisdom you shared. This will be shortly available on our YouTube channel, TechTonic Conversations. With that, Evgeny, thank you very much and have a
Thank you.
lovely Tuesday afternoon.